Reason number four is if you look at the agreement section of the preface to the rest of the agreement, really, it talks about how the purpose of the United States as a protector of Cuba, and speaking to the protected country Cuba, desires to preserve the independence and protect the people and protect the government of Cuba. And the United States really hasn't done this. Take, for example, the Bay of Pigs invasion. Did the United States send a fleet from Guantanamo out to the Bay of Pigs to help ward off the aggression? No, it didn't. It didn't do anything. And then Kennedy promised to never try to invade Cuba again, which falls short, really, of his obligation to not only not invade, but to actually protect Cuba and protect the people. So that was an anticipatory breach of contract, assuming the contract was even valid, which it wasn't, which it isn't. So let's just move, we'll count that as four, and we'll count as five, that our man in Havana leased the two ports, one on the North Shore and one on the South Shore, he exceeded his powers as the president of Cuba, because the Cuban Constitution had in it a provision that would not allow any foreign country to gain a foothold in the Cuban mainland. And so clearly, this is invalid. Now, he did have an option to lease land on the Isle of Pines because of just, at the time, the Isle of Pines was in a state of limbo as to whether it was part of Cuba or not. In fact, the Platt Amendment says as much. So, our man in Havana could have leased ports in the Isle of Pines to the United States without violating the Constitution and without shocking the conscience of anyone at all. But the United States allowed the lease to go into effect that way, and they should have known better. They should have known better. They should have known better since they forced the text of the Platt Amendment into the Cuban Constitution.